This is a Zach Feldman Show replay on ZRadioLive.com.
The web music station Z Radio Live. This is the Zach Feldman Show. Joining me on the phone is an author. She has a brand new book. It's the second book of her series. It's called Stepping Out of Faith, When I First Learned to Love Myself. It is Lisa Lankford. Lisa, thanks so much for joining me here on the Zach Feldman Show. How's everything going?
Everything is going great, Zach. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. First off, tell me about this brand new book.
Stepping Out on Faith, When I First Learned to Love Myself. Something that I kind of always say, like when I'm driving and commuting in traffic, I say, Lord, split this traffic like the Red Sea. So the cover of the book, it was kind of created just basically, if you're thinking about when you're on the Red Sea and standing on dry land and how much faith it took, to just to be safe and not worry about anything. And so that's kind of what I say sometimes. And my ministry is that of encouragement. So that's kind of what the book is about. And that's what the cover represents.
That's awesome. And obviously you put a lot of faith of God into these books. Your first book obviously was called Too Blessed to Be Stressed, the spiritual guide for a spiritual journey. It's still also out on Amazon as well. But this is kind of like the continuation of that series. Tell me, kind of how we got here.
Well, funny story. Basically, it's a ministry. One of my ministries is that of encouragement. And it's basically just kind of that. I never considered myself a writer, and now I'm a published author. The books are on, Amazon and Zula Press, Barnes Noble, ebook, and I have the trailers on YouTube. So, but I had a dear friend from Wiley University. I'm from a HBCU, and his name is Chucky. And we were just kind of talking and things. And he told me, he said, the way you talk and the way you write, have you ever thought about being a writer? And that was years ago. And of course, at that time, I was just like, not really. And I joked, I said, maybe when I retire, I have a pen name like Alice Deshabe, something like that. Then years later, I am from a big blessed family. I'm a baby girl. One of my second oldest sister, she just said, hey, weren't you talking about writing a book? And she kind of put that idea, in my mind again. So some years later, finally went ahead. It was in my spirit. I was trying to listen to God, and I start writing it, and the rest is the story.
The rest is the story, and now it's out, and they're both out, and they're great books. What's been the response kind of from people reading it?
Well, first of all, people are always, sometimes you think I'm late in life kind of doing something, but God's timing is right on time. When Too Blessed to Be Stressed came out, actually by the time I had some delays and things, but when it finally came out, it was around the beginning, I say, of the pandemic. I call it coronavirus. I call it Rona. And of course, we needed encouragement. So that's what I got. People were like, this book is so relevant, so needed, because the way I talk, the way that God speaks to me, I just try to make it relevant. I'm giving you scriptures. I'm giving you songs, that I reference, because I'm also a praise and a worshiper. So it came out at the right time. And of course, we needed encouragement then. And when my second book came out, Stepping Out on Faith, we still needed encouragement. And we still need encouragement now. So it's kind of an ongoing thing.
That's awesome. And it's just became such a really great book for, for those who are also, into the faith aspect. Yeah. And, when you finally kind of, realized that faith was such a huge part in your life, I mean, what did you do after that?
It's kind of hard to say the when, because we grew up in church, and, sometimes faith becomes, it's doing things, you don't always see it, but you do it, and then you just know it. And when you know you're a person of faith, when things get crazy, when they don't make sense, you just keep doing it. And, and it's like, if God did it before, he'll do it again. And it just becomes like a walk, and it becomes a daily thing. And when you give, I know encouragement is one of my ministries, but it's kind of like something that's down on the inside of you, so it's something you never lose. Sometimes we don't share it with enough people, but it's just always there. And it's a blessing. It really is a blessing to be a blessing.
It is 100%. Something about the cover too, you're standing in front of the parting sea. What's the meaning behind that?
And it's kind of funny because, I get these calls since I've been doing the books. I get calls all the time, and it's kind of like an interview. They're asking me, and I had a lady just twice this week that called me. And again, I told them, she was so surprised when I said, she said, did you design the covers? I said, yes. I guess because I'm an author, I'm a creative type. So both books I have, it's like God speaks to me. He gives me like a vision, and then I want to put it on, the cover. And so for Stepping Out on Faith, again, as I said, when I'm driving in traffic, sometimes I'll say, Lord, split this traffic like the Red Sea. So when I envision the Red Sea, and I love water, so the water, again, I envision, hopefully it makes you think of
Mhm.
the people, of Israel when they were walking out, on that Red Sea. And of course, it's a miracle. You're in the middle of a miracle. So I didn't have any intentions on being on the cover, but my daughter, who's my angel, and she's also, I've made her my Elma literary managing assistant. We do a cover sheet. I did a cover photo shoots for the first book and the second. And so I have pictures, and I had an image, because I picked out an image and who I wanted to be on there. It wasn't going to be me, but just an image of a person standing in the middle of the Red Sea. And again, thinking about how much faith it takes. You're just standing there. You have no choice but to have faith that I'm going to be okay and I'm going to make it safe to the other side. And my daughter's idea was like, well, why don't you do a picture of yourself? And so that's what I did. And it took a while to get that image. But actually, if you see on the back of the book, they, my wonderful publishing family, we kind of went back and forth because I was like, no, that's not it. They first had a image and I didn't like it. So it was kind of the way it was on the back. But I said, no, it's got to be dry land. She got to be in the middle of the water. And then I selected the picture for the front and the back. And again, the finished product, it turned out beautiful. And when
So
it's
so
finished,
is it fair to say that then you're also on the cover of Too Blessed to Be Stressed? Is that you in the background in the
no,
in the water?
that's not, no, that's not me on that one. That's just an image. It's just I Googled like an image and how I wanted it. And then again I gave it to them and they made it. I'm on the back of Too Blessed to Be Stressed, but that's not me. But and I wouldn't have been on the front of this
Oh,
Stepping
come
Out
on.
on
It'd be
Faith.
really great if you were in the water and then, came back out.
No,
And then
but you know
like
what?
this is your face reveal. I mean, that'd be freaking awesome.
No, no, but you know what? But again, to mention the cover of that one, again, I love water. I just imagine a person, you're going through things and you're saying, I'm too blessed to be stressed, and you're just hands upraised, praising them. But if you look at my picture on the back, that is me kind of imagining, that moment on the front of the cover. But no, that's not me on the front,
I
but it
really
is me
wanted them to
on,
be related. Damn.
well, people, I've got a lot of compliments. Like they love it. They're
Yeah.
like, it's risky for an author to be on the. I said I had no intentions on being that. That was my daughter. That
Yeah.
was my Elma. But it turned out, I think, turned out beautifully. And again, the books encourage me. And so one of my goals in life is like if I can say or do something encouraging, then hey, that's one of my goals. That's one of my missions. And so I've gotten so much positive feedback from both books.
That's
But
great.
that's me on the front and the
That's
back.
awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. And it's really great because, obviously you've written 2 books now. I mean, what's been I guess the ups and downs of writing?
Oh, man, you go through what you're writing. I'm actually working on a third one. I guess I can mention it. I've kind of put it on Facebook. My third book is going to be I'm Still Strong. When you feel like there's nothing left, keep going. And I'm in the middle of that one. And my process is different each time. The first time, again, it took years and I talked about it. And but the way Lord deals with me, I'll write things down and I encourage other writers as I've been doing this. Write it down. I date it, and then now I have a journal and I put it in, and then for me, I include scriptures with it, songs because I'm a praise and a worshiper also, and then I just kind of be led and I pray about it and I put it in there, and then it's the finished product. It's exciting. It's like a new baby.
That's awesome. And it's worked out very well because you've had a lot of success with these books.
Yeah.
What is next for you though?
Well, I'm excited about this interview, and
Not for
I'm,
me,
I'm,
for you. I want to know what's going on with you in your
oh,
life.
well, okay. Well, again, so it's so much. Well, I'm in the middle. Okay, at the first of the year, I had connected with Maple Staple bookstores in Canada. So both of my books were there. I had press releases, and then the first of the year, my books were selected to be uh, for a Toronto college, and it was a fair, so they were
Mhm.
displayed, so that was exciting, and I was in another press release. Since then, I say the hope I prayed for. I've been connecting with paper rights, and we're in the middle of some projects of going from being, because I am an independent, self-published author, but we're in the process of going from that to mainstream. So a lot of projects. So the last several months, since I think June, they have featured me in articles. As far as one of them, women's equality and different things each month. So it's been exciting, and it's been campaigned. So a lot of exciting things going on, and I'm just excited and don't know what's next, but I'm ready for it. Because what I get, the main thing that I get when people call me is, have you thought about your books, becoming movies or
Mm.
Netflix or Amazon or any? I'm like, of course. I mean, well, I didn't think about it initially, but people are like, your books are good, they're amazing, and they're encouragement, and we need it. So we need to see it more. So I'm definitely praying about what's next and how we can get more exposure from my books.
That's awesome. And and I'm excited to see what happens there next, because that's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully
Yes.
that definitely goes through. Stepping out of faith, when I first learned to love myself, and then second book and the other book as well, Too Blessed to Be Stressed, a spiritual guide for a spiritual journey. Lisa Lankford, where can people get the books, and where can people follow you online?
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, I am on Amazon, and I've been hearing the books are doing good. Usually I'm in top 5, top 10, both of the books, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Also, so Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Zulon Press. Also, I'm also on ebook. Both of the trailers are also on YouTube. And my social platform medias, I am on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and now newly TikTok. I am also been a live host on TikTok, and where I'm talking about the books more. So hopefully all of those things are going to give it a great exposure.
That's awesome. Well, Lisa Lankford, thank you so much for coming on the Zach Feldman Show. Seriously, best luck with the books. So best luck with the series, and best luck with all of the success in the literature world.
Thank you. I love it. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me. And I've enjoyed chatting with you.
You too as well. The Wednesday Music Station, Z Radio Live, back with more Zach Feldman Show right after this.
Want to hear more? Listen to the Zach Feldman Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ZRadioLive.com.